are the wisdom that is beyond all men, and you are the wisdom that helps all men as we
Mm.
share, as we discuss. I ask that you speak to us in a way that we understand and transform us,
Amen.
O God. In Jesus
Amen.
Christ. Amen. All right, let's quickly start. I have about 35 minutes to do
Yes.
this, and I'm hoping that I would be able to get it done. Please just pardon me. I'm trying to just get a place to park. I will just park now and then we'll go on. Okay, let's start with basic
It's cool.
thing.
All right. Oh,
When I when I checked the team, when Bro Chris was talking to me, he was very specific about the window of 2023 and then how we can fully prepare for what is coming and then also position. So the two words, the two key words that I want to anchor on as we start this discourse is preparation and position.
it's
And
cool.
uh,
Cool.
when you think about preparation and positioning, preparation
Doctor,
is
Dr. Felix.
yes, sir.
All right. Let me declare the show open first.
Okay, please. That's what I was waiting for. I wanted all the preliminaries to be done, and then we can quickly do what we need.
I can see you're ready. I can see you're loaded for us. But let me start the show first.
Okay, please go ahead. That was what I was saying. I'm very
Okay,
sorry.
cool. So it's perfect. It's fine with us. It's good. All right,
All
ladies
right.
and gentlemen, this is Corner Chat with Babalogy. As you can see, our guest on the show is already prepared to fire on. I had to come in for him to give us a little break so we can make a formal introduction of who he actually is before he start dishing out all he has in his pocket for us this very evening. Corner Chat with Babalogy is majorly a session where we bring in experts on the show to discuss on various issues ranging from business to career to relationship and so much more. A time where we get to learn from their life experiences and how they all they've been through and how they've been able to come out strong despite challenges they have encountered. I have no doubt in my mind that you are going to be educated, you will be motivated, and you are going to be inspired this very evening from our guest on the show. Without any further ado, tonight we are having a very special program. Very special. Of course, you know, today is a special day. It is a special day because it is the end of the year. It's a special day because it is the end of the month. It is a special day because it is the end of the week. Very special indeed. And we have a very special guest in our midst this very evening, talking about preparation and positioning so you can get the best out of 2022. Without any further ado, I want to tell you who my guest is on the show this very evening. Permit me to tell you that our guest on the show, he is the co-founder and president of His Voice Universal, a kingdom leadership empowerment movement with the mandate of reculturing the world, repositioning the church, and reinventing Africa. I am pleased to inform you also that he is the founder and CEO of Mushroom Limited, a tech-based problem-solving company trading in technological gadgets, human capacity development, eco-friendly construction, farming, and transportation. Our guest is loaded this very evening. He is also a published author of two great books, The True Mastership of Your Being and The Pledge. I would advise you to go and get those books because they are rich. He's happily married to Onyinye Blessing Duru, and they lead his voice together. Join me as I welcome our guest on the show this evening, Dr. Felix Abayomi Duru. Doctor, we're excited to have you on the show this very evening.
Thank you. It's been a great honor. I just feel like I feel like something. You know, when you are reading that thing out, my head is just beating. I was just trying to calm my head down. So thank you very much, sir. Thank
Yeah,
you. Welcome everybody. Welcome
yeah,
everybody. It's a very big honor. I do not take this for granted, and I really want to
yeah.
appreciate everybody at it for having me. Thank you. And I believe within these few 30 minutes plus, we're going to have a very great time. And then we're going to have
Mm.
transfigurations because we'll be dealing with counterintuitive ideologies and thoughts that are disruptive in ways that will trigger more multiple thoughts. The idea is not to teach something new. The idea is to inspire deep thought and crystallizing of what you already know. You know, John the Apostle John was teaching. He said, "My dear little children, I do not teach you something that you don't already know." What we are going to be talking about this evening, you already know them. Our job is to find a way to help you dig into sublime ideas that are already in your subconscious and help us bring it to the surface so that you can now maximize your own original thoughts and then change your world as you go into the new year. So, can I start?
Doctor,
Can I go on immediately?
yes,
Yes, sir.
yes. Just 30 seconds before you go on now. All
Okay.
right. If you are new to this channel, remember to click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever we have other amazing videos on this particular channel. Also, remember to drop your question on the chat box. Drop every question you have for our guest on immediately he's done with the session. We have your questions and he will deal with them one after the other. Doctor, can you hear me?
Uh, yes, I can hear you clearly. I can.
All right, all right. We are dealing with effective preparation and positioning for outstanding exploits in the new year. You know, you've already started before. I had to cut you off so that I can do a formal introduction. Now, having done that,
Yeah.
doctor, you have the floor.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, let's quickly. I would decide to change course a little bit so that I can give you guys an idea of what the 2023 year looks like. Now, 2023 is what they call a Shemitah year, and it's it's what we call a Shemitah year. What that means is that 2023 is not just a new year; it is the beginning of the next 7 years. So, the Jewish code and the Jewish people count the years in sevens. So if you count the years in sevens, 7 years just ended in 2022. A new 7 years will start in 2023. And that simply means that, can you hear me, sir? Very clearly, right?
All right, loud and clear.
All right. What that means is that by 2023, we're not just beginning a new year, we're beginning a new 7 year cycle that will culminate in 2030. So if people don't
Mm.
take advantage of the first window of the year, then the next 7 years will be in jeopardy. That is the crazy thing. So we're not just dealing with preparation and positioning for exploit for just the next year. We're dealing with preparation and positioning for the next 7 years. The
Yeah,
next cycle will complete again. There's something called the Jubilee year, and it goes in
yeah.
777. So I don't want to begin
Mm-hmm.
the religious all those things, but I just want us to know that there are key three words in these conversations, and the first one is preparation, the second one is positioning, and the third one is exploit. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to mirror these words, and then I would like you to pick the mirror image of this word. Number one, what mirrors preparation is opportunities. Anybody that is preparing is consciously pulling opportunity to themselves. Actually, the
Okay.
prepared is an opportunity waiting to happen. Most of the time, people think that people just succeed by luck. No. Anybody that is preparing, anybody in preparation is somebody that is consciously waiting for an opportunity. It's what we call the mirror side of the physical world and the spiritual reality. Anybody preparing in the physical cosmos is naturally pulling a spiritual opportunity from the other side. The worst thing that can happen to you is for you to come face to face with an opportunity and not be ready to maximize it. Just this year, we saw a prime minister in UK, a lady who didn't even do a month in office, and then that's because opportunity came for someone who wasn't prepared for it. So when we now deal with positioning, what mirrors positioning is partnership. If you're positioning, you're simply positioning to be in the right place to meet the right people at the right time so that your life will change. We change by meeting people. We advance by maximizing opportunity. So, and that means that preparation mirrors opportunities, and then positioning mirrors partnership. Let me give you an instance. Somebody like Saul of the Old Testament, God orchestrated his father's sheep to be lost. He got in the journey to go and look for it until he met a man, and then he became a king. Now, Naaman had leprosy. His slave girl told him he was going to meet a prophet, and then by that, his leprosy was cured. So, vis-a-vis what always happens, what happens in the end is that you are simply just one step away from the next opportunity, and you are simply just one call away from the next opportunity. And it's partnership and preparation that changes that game for us. And let's move to the next word, which is exploit. Anybody that is not planning to do exploit is actually preparing and positioning to be exploited. So people who are not consciously thinking of doing exploit will be exploited. It's just like ignorance mirrors darkness. If you are ignorant, you'll be ignored. So that said, let's now go into the reality. So I'm just going to try to create a template, like I said, and then we can think about it. Amen. Are we together?
Very well, doctor.
All right. Hope I'm not moving too fast and I'm not talking to myself alone. I just need us to. All right, now, preparation
okay.
and position.
All right.
Okay.
If you're listening to us right now, and you can hear Dr. Felix loud and clear, kindly give us a comment in the comment section. Thank you. We can go ahead,
I
sir.
really appreciate. Okay, let me just go ahead quickly. Now, what we are saying in essence is this. If we are now going to bring in the preparation, positioning for exploit, two things must happen. And one of them is sublimely spiritual, and then the other one is concretely physical. And they are in three templates. Are we together? So I'm just going to deal with them, and then we are going to have the conversation straight from there. The first one is what we call the law of exchange, and then the laws of exchange, and then the second one on the other side are what we call the laws of change. So if somebody wants to position and prepare for the next year, we have to make an exchange of where we are so that we can be where we are supposed to be. Are we together?
Very well.
And then we have to make changes so that we can also live where we are so that we can be where we want to be. Please, I need us to understand this and just find a way to understand with me and just have an idea of what I'm trying to say. Are we together?
We are.
Are we together? Now,
Very well.
let me talk about the issue of exchange. The truth is, this might sound a little bit religious. I'm sorry the video is like this. I'm in my car. But then I want you to understand something. If you don't, you have to make an exchange before you can really, really advance your life. And you have to change if you have to advance your life. Because change is constant. It's either life is changing and leaving you behind, or you are changing and moving ahead of life. Now, here is the law of change, and there are just three. I call them the factors of change. The three areas you must pay attention to if you are going to position and prepare for exploit in the coming 7 years. So, like I said before, I'm not just dealing with 2023, I'm dealing with from 2023 to 2030. And that is enough time for you to become a pro, for you to become a master, for you to become a champion in any field that you are playing in, on any field that you have chosen. Now, please write this down. I want to begin first of all from change before I move to exchange. Now, change is focused on you, exchange is focused on how you relate with some factors that are beyond your control, on how we can trade ideologies, trade inspiration, or trade um, 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 color by contact or by I don't know how to say it, but if you want to get charged and you are neutral, you have to move yourself to an environment where you can relate with positive or negative charge so that you can change your electric positioning and you can be better. Now, please don't don't worry about the thought, even if you are not able to process it at first. It will make sense because it's not something new, it's something you know, but then we're bringing it to the surface. So I'm not trying to claim that I know something or I'm teaching you something new. I'm simply saying that there is something you already know. It's like a fish in your ocean. And I'm simply helping you to catch it and showing you that it's already there. So here is it. The three laws of change is what we call time, value, and money. Time, value, and money. Your next year will depend on what you do with these three. Your time is simply the equalizer of all men. Your 24 hours in a day will determine what you will become, where you will be, what you will achieve. And guess what? Bill Gates has the same amount of time. Peter Obi has the same amount of time. Everybody has the same amount of time. You don't have to know the president. You don't have to know anybody. You don't have to be talented. You don't have to be gifted. You don't have to be educated. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be blessed. You don't have to be anything. All you need to be first is to have time. And do you have time? Everybody has time, but some people maximize it, some people spend it, some people use it, some people waste it, some people even use it to destroy themselves. So I'm going to deal with that a little bit, but please let me tell you, um, I'm in a car, and the truth is the car moves in two motions. There is the circular motion of the tire and of the routine motion of the engine. If you check the engine, everything moves in circle. And then there is the linear progressive motion of the car. Now, guess what? Most people look at the linear progress of travel, of where they want to be at the end of the year. Yes, of where they want to be in the next 30 years. That is progress. But progress is depending on cyclical routine. Where you will be by December 2023 will depend on what you do every day. It is the circular motion of daily 24 hours that determine the speed, the direction, the progressive achievement of the long run. It is the short run commitment that determine the long run positioning. So the first is, if you don't change how you spend your time or what you do with your time, your year will never change. It doesn't matter if you go to 24th, 31st night, or maybe 200 pastors lay hand on you. If you are doing the same thing with your time, the same way you did it in the last year, is the same way or even worse your next year is going to be. So it's what we call, we need to review our time. You don't need to think about the next year. You just need to think about your 24 hours. And remind me, if this particular section cannot capture it, I can just show you a simple template for maximizing and mastering time. Don't forget about the month, forget about the year, forget about the next year. Let's look at 24 hours. If you do 24 hours right, you will do the remaining one right. Now let's look at value. Value is now please pardon me to switch a little bit because I want to create a problem. Like I said, You don't have to be talented. Your greatest gift is time. You can create talent from time. See, let me tell you something. You know that if you have time, you can use time to develop value, and you can use value to make money.
You're
Now,
right,
do you
sir.
get the
Very true.
progression? Somebody has
Very
time.
well.
He invests that time to learn programming. Are we there?
Yeah, cool. Very well, sir.
All right. Somebody invests that time to learn programming, even if it's 4 hours of programming commitment every day. 4 hours times 365, you can do the math, times 4 years, he becomes a pro. So he has value to offer, and then he can now use that value to get money. And once he gets money, he can now use his money to buy more time by either investing in technology or employing more talented people.
Hmm.
Do you understand that? It's a
Yeah.
cycle. You use time to develop value, you use value to buy to get money, and you use money to buy more time. For example, you can trek to Lagos, you can use bicycle to Lagos, you can use car to Lagos from wherever you are. Yet you can fly to Lagos. All those technology are simply using money to buy more time. So the concept of value is now what I want to talk about. And what I want to talk about is the three dimension of value, even though they are up to 7. But here is one. Number one is the worth, your self-worth, your self-esteem, your self-confidence, your self-awareness, your self-respect, your self-dignity. How you see yourself. If how you see yourself doesn't change, your entire life cannot change. It's what we call the first law of value. The value is the value you put on yourself. Then the second concept of value are what we call the guiding principles that govern your life. So now I'm teaching everybody now. Number one is write 10 statements that defines who you are in your self-worth. I am talented, I am valuable, I am handsome, I am rich, I am just 10. And then the second one is the guiding principle. They are called the values of virtue. They are the principles that guide your life. I do not steal, I do not lie, I walk, I read 2 hours every day. I do this. The 10 or more principles, they are not 10 commandments. They are simply value principles that govern your life. You have to do that. And then finally is the value you offer in exchange for money. What you do to get to serve other people. So I'm gonna do you're gonna do it like this. The first one is write 10 statements that defines yourself. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I am in the image and likeness of God. I'm so valuable that God had to take the cross to die for me. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am awesome because you don't become what you have experienced. You become what you are expecting. Now, the second one is write 10 statements that governs the core principles that guide your life. I do not sleep with somebody's wife. I do not sleep with somebody that is not my wife. I do not do business and cheat people and all of that. What you do and what you don't do. You can use do's 5 and then don't 5. You can start from there and expand it or crash it down. And then finally is write 10 things that you can do or that you are interested in, that you are able to do, that can make money for you. I think I can talk. I think I can organize. I think I can anything, both talent, passion, burden, in the concept of value. So you have 10. That's an assignment that you have to do. Are we together?
We are.
Yes.
All right. So we
Yes,
did
I will
the
with you.
concept of time. We dealt with the concept of value, and then the last one is the concept of money. Now, there are about 10 things you can think about when you talk about money. But let me just give you about 5 or 7 very quickly before I move to what I want to talk about. Is number one, how much do I want to earn? Number two, how much do I want to save by the end of the year? Number three, what are the investments I want to have made or I can possibly make? And then, how do I spend my money? You think about, have you been spending your money? Do you spend without budget? Do you always spend your last card? Are you a waster? And then finally, what are my giving commitments? You can give your tithe, you can give your can give alms. So these are the 5 or basic laws. The law of earning: you must earn, you must save, you must invest, you must spend, you must give. And monitoring these 5 areas of your finances, you are able to now consciously preposition yourself, because anybody that have not conquered mammon have still not conquered life. So what you do with your time, what you do with your value systems, and what you do with your finances are the 3 cardinal laws of change. And even if you are already having a good life, you can keep making it more effective and efficient. And in reviewing them, in touching them up to be better, that is how you actually change your life and you actually position for greater exploit. For example, do you know that people don't invest in themselves? People will rather spend 5,000 in an eatery than spend 3,000 to buy a new book, or spend that equivalent amount of money to invest, like the webinar. Imagine in this webinar, you tell people to pay. Some people are not going to pay. Some people are not going to feel comfortable. They are just going to think, I'm wasting my money. But you see, that is value system. Some people value their belly more than they value their minds. So some people value their present more than they value their future. So in checking these 3 areas, you can easily prepare and position to change your life. Let me give you an instance. Just by telling yourself that in 2023, you should attend. Hello?
We can hear you, sir.
Should I continue?
Go ahead,
yes,
sir.
Go on,
Please,
sir.
go.
All right. Just by simply telling yourself in 2023, I'm just going to make a commitment to attend at least 5 live seminars on capacity building and training. And it's not just about learning something, it's about changing your networks. By attending those, I'm not dealing with virtual attendance. By attending physically, you add a phone number, you remove a phone number. In a year, your relationship changes. There are people who are still calling the same people they've been calling. Is the same contact they have on their phones. Is the same relationship they've had in the last 10 years. It hasn't changed. And that's because they are not consciously looking into this concept and these dimensions. Are you getting my point now? Now, let's now move into the reality of exchange. Like I said, change is about you, but exchange is spiritual. It's not just physical law. So I believe I'm talking to spiritual people, and I believe that in the end it will make sense. I'm sorry I spoiled you guys' video. It's getting dark here. I'm in my village, inside one village. So please pardon me. So now
we can hear
the law of exchange.
loud and
The law of exchange is that you want to take what you don't have. You want to acquire something that is not naturally yours. That is not just in change. You are upgrading what you already have. But in exchange, you are trading what you have to get what you do not have. And there are 3 laws for it. And it's critical for you to get to where you want to get. Please, guys, give me a minute. Just all right, guys. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, very clear, sir.
very well, sir.
All right, now here is it. In the law of exchange, there are three basic laws. There is the law we call the law of submission. The second law is the law of sacrifice. And then the third law is the law of service. It's what we call the three SSS. Please, in the name of God, find new mentors, find consistent people to submit to. In submission, you are planting a seed that will germinate in somebody else's life. It's what we call the law of seeding. In sacrifice, you are simply inconveniencing yourself in such a way that things that you do not really deserve can happen to you. Let me give you, I was reading a scripture yesterday at a conference, and Israel went to war with the king, the hidden king, and then guess what? God told them by the prophet that they were going to win. But this man sacrificed his first son after using about 700 men to go, and they didn't win. And now he sacrificed his first son, and then suddenly, boom, there was a stalemate, and Israel couldn't defeat him. And guess what? That was how the war ended. Now, in the physical realm, God is love, but God is justice. And in the justice of God, the one with the highest sacrifice, the one is the one that leads. So, and when I mean sacrifices, I'm not just talking about the mundane things of sacrifice. I'm dealing with um, the, the idea that causes you to do the required, the cause of the desired. Please write it down. Discipline is doing the required because you've seen the desire. The Bible wrote about Jesus. He said he saw the glory that was set before him, and he embraced the cross. What have you seen about your future? So people are not making sacrifices. People are believing in luck. People are believing in grace. Grace is good. Grace works. But you see, grace functions better with competence. I'm telling you, grace functions better with competence. You can discriminate against color. You can discriminate against gender. You can discriminate against religion. You can discriminate against whatever. But you can never discriminate against competence. A competent fellow will always find his way. A diligent man will always find his way among kings. And then the last one is the law of service. Now, this is important because in submission, you're dealing with mentors, leaders, and God. Submit yourself to your leader, submit yourself to God. In service, we're dealing with serving humanity, serving other people. Either some people think that service is just you doing something for free. No, I read the Bible. The Bible says that a man that causes the one that withholdeth corn, and blessed is the one that selleth it. You know that in doing business, you are blessed beyond the profit you make. Actually, let me say it to you like this. Write it down, please. For those who have nothing to sell, life is going to be a living hell. Those who have nothing to sell. So service, and then when you deal with submission, when you deal with the sacrifice you're making, the self-denial, the things you're denying yourself, the things you are letting go because of where you want to go, and then in that you can now relate with the three factors of life: God and leaders, human beings, and people you relate with, and in you. So if you want to prepare and position for the next 7 years, please review your time, review your value system, and review your finances. And if you want to review, if you want to get there, the other side, review who are you submitted to, where are you planted, what sacrifice are you making? Are you a sacrificial person? Do you know that those who are not willing to make sacrifice for their future are already sabotaging their destiny? So, and then service. They came to Jesus and said, "Who will be the greatest in the kingdom?" And then he said, "Let the greatest one be the one that served the most." And finally, I'm giving you these three templates in speed. And then finally is goal setting. And goal setting is simply you thinking about this statement I'm going to make now. Is this: I need you to pray. I need you to fast. I need you to do all of, some of you are in churches where the fasting starts tomorrow. There will be a crossover 31st night. Most pastors are going to declare what the year will look like. It's going to be the year of fruitfulness, the year of speed, the year of acceleration. All of that is good. But then those who don't set goals never score. Should I repeat it again?
Yes, please do.
Those who do not set goals never score. It is
Wow.
your year will not be according to what your pastor declared. Your year will be according to the goals you set and pursue. So let me give you areas that we can set goals, and then I'll be done, and then I'll wait for the questions. Number one, please, if you want the next 7 years to be beautiful, set kingdom goals. Kingdom goals are the first set of goals I would like you to set. If I'm talking to Christians, if you're not a Christian there, please, whatever you do, you can just change the word kingdom to humanity goals. Kingdom goals are simply things you do for God and you do for humanity. Things that you say, okay, I'm going to win some number of souls. I'm going to be this more for my pastor, for my leader. I'm going to be more effective. Things you do for God. That is where it starts. That thing that you choose to do, not because you will benefit from it. I want to mentor 12 people. I want to do this. So, in doing that, then that's the first. I won't be saying too much about that. Then the second goals I would like you to set are spiritual goals. Um, Spiritual goals are about there are seven laws of the spiritual goal. Um, Plan to read through the Bible. Plan to pray at least um, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours every day. Uh, Set some evangelism goals. Set some fasting goals. You can take out 1 day out of the week to just stay on water, or maybe do fruit fast. There is fasting. There is worship. There is service. I'm gonna maybe I'm gonna send another teaching on that. Spiritual goals are simply things you set to keep the real you alive, the spirit man healthy. So that said, then the next area I want you to set goals is what we call intellectual goals. These are goals that help keep your mind bright, keep your mind we call them the lubricant goals. Read books and get yourself lubricated, especially learn something new, learn a new language, learn a new software, and whatever, anything that can just, it's recreational. Intelligence is recreational. That's what I call it. How many have I said now? How many areas of goals? And they don't have to be many. They can just be five, five, three, three in this area. I've said three, right?
Yeah, three, sir.
Yeah.
All right. The fourth area is physical goals. And tell yourself, I'm not going to be sick this year. I'm not going to take any drug this year. It's a very good goal. And if you want to achieve that, there are just three things you need to do: hygiene, exercise, and dieting. You check your weight. If you are underweighing, tell yourself you're going to weigh. Check your body in mass index. Look at your health. Maybe last year you didn't drink enough water. Drink enough water. Pay attention to your set physical goals. If you don't have 6 packs, it's a good place to start. You can decide to, all right, what does it take? I think I'll just um, go to the gym. Please be healthy. I'm telling you, if you're not healthy, you are not really on point. So the next one is relational goals. Tell yourself, okay, all these friends are friends. I'm gonna do some changes with some friends, and there are 3 areas you should do. Make 3 new friends with people above you. Make 3 new friends with people that you can work with, people at your level, and then raise 3 new friends that are your sons. So that will be good for the year. If you can make it 5-5, good for you. Relational goals are good. If your relationship is not changing, then your life is not really, really changing. Now, the next area you set goals is your financial goals. All right. And I've given you the template ahead of time. Change your income, change your spending, change your savings, and then look into your investment. Now, these are goals, and this is how you go into the next year. By planning with this concept, you can now do the final check I'm going to give you, which is review your last year, Review. Just sit down and review. And the best place to start reviewing is from your word note. If you are, I can see my friends, you are taking note. Awesome. Please just try it immediately after 31st night. First tomorrow, sit down. If you have used diaries, you've used word note, you've used anything that you use to jot your ideas. Just, I'm not telling you to do anything special. Just read it through. Take out a day or some couple of hours. Just skim through all of them. It will shock you the things you said you were going to do. As a matter of fact, if you do that, sometimes you don't even need to set new goals. You'll be amazed that you've already planned the next 5 years of your life. All you just needed to do was to go back to your word note and pick it up from where you left them. So review your last year and then tell yourself the truth. But don't take the blame, but take responsibility for where you are. And then set goals for the future. And then set those goals in lines with the exchange laws and then the change laws. And I believe by the time you're there, you're just going to be a high flyer. And if you do this 2023 well, the next 7 years, actually, is it not beautiful that we're not just dealing with 2023? You just in your note
Okay,
there,
sir.
write it. How old will you be by 2030? Please just try it. You'll be amazed. So this discourse is about planning, positioning, and preparing for the next 7 years. So write it in that your note. By 2020, I'm going to be 40 something. I'm going to be 20 something. I'm going to be 30 something. Some of you by 2030, you are going to be older than Jesus. I think I just made a joke, right? All right, yes. Jesus died at 33. So if me, I'm already older than him, and I'm ashamed of myself, even if God, the help all of us, amen. All right. All right, guys. Okay, what sorry, guys, please. Hope I don't hit you below the bed. All I'm simply saying in essence is we have to be intentional. And until we become intentional, we will not go international. So please, let's review that and then look at the exchange laws and look at the change laws and then put it together. I'm trying not to complicate these simple things. Like I said, you know these things already. I'm just trying to trigger them and bring it to the surface. And with these few thoughts of mine, I believe I've been able to say a few things. And even if they don't make sense, please pardon me. I'm just in the village. There is no light. And I'm in my car trying to use my car to charge my phone. God bless you guys. I will now wait for the questions. Thank you for having
me. Ladies and gentlemen, this is still Corner Chat with Babalogy. And it's been amazing night to crown the year 2022. This is fire this very evening. Please, if you are new to the channel, kindly click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you will be notified whenever we have other amazing shows and we post other amazing videos. We have just listened to Engineer, having corrected Engineer Felix and I know you've been blessed, like I have been blessed listening to him this very evening. It is question time. You have a question or two. You can drop it in the chat box, and we'll get it across to our guests this very evening. This is question time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your time all the while. I know the little time you have spent and you're spending is never a waste. Thank you for joining Corner Chat with Babalogy. All right, question time. You have a question or two. Let's have them as quickly as possible. If you're live, you can ask your question live also. Okay. Engineer Felix. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly, sir. I can hear you clearly, very clearly.
Okay. Um, our listeners are still trying to assimilate what you have dished out to us this very minute.
Okay.
And I know they are preparing their questions, but I want to ask.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask. I have to wait for their questions.
Okay.
Sitting down, sitting down to make a review is one thing. Having the willpower to start is another.
Okay.
How does one reconcile these two?
Okay. First of all, okay, let me just quickly go into that question. See, everybody has the same problem. Everybody. It's just like the problem of public speaking. You can never outgrow that initial fear that enters your body before you step up. Even the best pose get that chilly feeling. But you see, courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is
Mm.
advancing in spite of fear. Courage is, I think somebody needs to be muted.
Anytime when
If
you
your
say
life,
when the voice and
Is it my line?
Bro Josh, please
that's
mute
it.
yourself, please.
Joshua.
Bro Josh, please mute yourself. Mute yourself.
Hello, sir.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Okay.
Sir, I can hear you, sir.
there,
Yes,
if
clear.
your life
All right.
can kindly mute until when you want to speak, so that
All
we don't
right.
have
Now,
interference.
first is let me give you the three laws of ensuring that you don't. The three laws I call the laws of willpower. Hmm? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can
Loud
hear
and
Oh
you.
God, network is
Okay, yeah.
really bad.
I call them the three willpower laws. The first one is the law of vision. You see, people get tired because they've not been able to weigh what they need to do and where they need to be. Are you
Mm.
getting me now? The Bible said about
Very well.
Yes, sir.
Moses, the Bible said Moses saw the one that is invincible. So if somebody, Jesus, the Bible said about Jesus that he saw the glory that was set before him. Even the same thing was said about John, Apostle Paul. And guess what? Do you know that Joseph is not strong, wasn't stronger than Samson? The difference between Samson falling at Delilah and Joseph running away from Potiphar's wife is simply the law of vision. One saw the moon and the stars bowing to him, while the other one didn't have a clue of what was possible with his own destiny. So if
Mm.
people are having issues with doing what they decided to do that we get them to where they need to get to in the future, the first biggest problem is that they don't have an idea of the vision of where they are going to, or they've lost that vision entirely. It's what we call the fog of darkness, because you can't really keep yourself motivated in the dark. Your greatest light
Mm.
is your vision for tomorrow. Is what causes a leader, no matter how feeble, to continue to have mighties following him. He simply can see beyond the people that are following him. Are you getting what I'm saying? So the first one is,
Yes, sir.
if somebody is not able to have that willpower to make a commitment on the changes they want to make, then the first thing we need to go is ask them, what is your vision for your destiny? You know me, I came from nothing. I came from hell. I came from a place where everybody expected me not to amount to anything. I came from the bottoms and the bottoms of the gutter. So I know where I came from. And I know that living the way I was living, and I've seen people who have ended up the way I don't want to end up. So it's not, I don't need to be motivated. I am motivated even before I wake up.
because depending on what you are pursuing and depending on what is pursuing you, that will determine the kind of race that you'll be running. Are you getting my point? So the
Very
first
clear.
thing
Yes, sir.
is the first issue is vision. Then the second issue of keeping your willpower is the law of dissatisfaction. See, until you are dissatisfied, you will never be glorified. This thing we talk about, uh, you have been having F, you have been having C, you have been having D. Your problem is not your brain. Your problem is that you are not yet tired of mediocrity. Do you know that? Let me tell you guys something. Do you know that Jacob collected the blessing of Esau, and that blessing was gone? And then when the young man came, he was crying and begging that at least a blessing should be left for him, something should be left for him. And guess what? His father told him that I blessed him, or you will serve him, but when you become restless, you will cast away the distance. The reality is that people are not yet tired of where they are. People are not yet tired of suffering. People are not yet, this thing you say, I'm falling, I'm rising, I'm committing fornication, is that you don't have an idea of the repercussion and what is at stake. Because the idea of vision is to have an understanding of what is at stake if you don't do what you are expected to do. Are you getting me now? And then the
Yes,
third
sir.
law is the law of partnership. Nobody works alone. No great man works alone. Go and check all the great companies from Google to Microsoft to Facebook to Apple. All the giants are actually big companies that were bettered on the foundational law of partnership. You must review and you must be accountable, because leadership is responsibility to change and accountability to report. So leadership actually does 3 R's. It gives reports, it gets results, and then it keeps records. Are you getting me now? Should I say that again?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Leadership is about
Yes, sir.
just 3 things. Leadership must keep record, leadership must get results, and leadership must what? Must do what? Give
Re-
reports.
re-
So
report.
if you set all those goals and you cannot call one person, one friend, to hold you accountable to what you have said you were going to do, then I don't think you are actually going to get it done, because that is where the problem starts from. That's where the issues begin. Are you getting my point now? So what
Yes.
we are really saying in essence is, if somebody can easily know what their future looks like, if somebody can be dissatisfied about where they are, and if somebody can get a friend, a partner, just like oh
Hello,
God.
sir. Can you hear me?
No, yes, those kind, I can hear you.
Yes,
Can you
sir.
hear me now? A call entered
Yes,
into
yes.
my phone.
Very
So
clear.
those kind of relationships are very critical, and we call them the three big. Sorry about that. Somebody is just disturbing my phone. So we call them the three basic laws. So what I'm saying in essence, you will feel tired. You will get tired.
Mm.
You will not feel motivated. It's a normal thing. Is to say it won't be there, it will just be lying. But you see, you just get up and get up. Is how you get up. You just get up and keep going. Normal. So that is how you do it. But these are the 3 things that makes it easy and makes it possible. Keep the vision in front of you. I'm going to be the greatest speaker in the world. I'm going to be the best-selling writer in the world. I'm going to be the programmer and the software developer that is going to transform Africa in tech. I'm going to be the doctor that did this. That vision you have is what we call the visions of righteousness. Habakkuk said, write the vision, make it plain, keep it in front of you. If you lose sight of your vision, you lose your greatest power of your motivation. And then be tired. As a matter of fact, nobody should meet you at the same place after every 90 days. Every 3 months, you should have made progress. Every 3 months, you should get dissatisfied wherever you are. And then ensure that you are in an accountability relationship that keeps you committed to what you say you are going to do. And that is how you keep it going. Any other way, I don't know any other way, sir. But I think that works for me.
Ah, uh,
Oh,
Engineer Felix, thank you so much. Thank you so much for values you're impacting this very evening. All right, I want to know if we have further questions because I know I have questions. If you have further questions, please we want to hear them now, both in the comment section and if you are live on the show this very evening.
I think you can check the comment
I
section.
think I'm seeing a chat. There's a
The
chat
chat
here.
and the comment
A
section.
question here. Yes.
Okay,
You say, what
I
practical ways can someone
I
put
haven't.
in the chat?
Go ahead. You can read it. Read it. Sir. Read it.
Okay. So, what practical ways can someone put in place to deal with procrastination?
What practical ways
Okay.
can someone
Wait,
do what?
can
Put in place
put in place
to
to deal with procrastination?
All right, procrastination, right?
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay, and then we have to make
Yes,
this
sir.
one very practical, right? Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
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 Practical ways to deal with procrastination.
All right. If you have ever read, there is a book by what's the name of Brian Tracy. I think he wrote something. I
It's the frog.
think we're having some interference.
Yes. Yes. I'm getting a feedback. Yeah.
I'm trying to understand where it's coming from, but can you hear me now?
It's clear now.
Very clear, sir.
Okay. Okay. What I'm saying in essence is he wrote a book. He said, "Eat that frog." Um, the thing is, if you are going to get it done, do it first.
Mm.
Do you hear what I'm saying? Hmm?
Very,
Yes,
very
sir.
clear.
Because
Other is network. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not as much. Hello, sir. Are you there? Hello, sir. Can you hear us?
I think it
just a
should be
bit.
the network.
It should be his network. Yeah. So,
He's
looking
out
out.
of the call
Yes.
already.
Out of the yes.
Yes.
And I hope his gadget didn't go off.
I just hope so.
That's,
You know, he said he was inside his car trying to power it.
I'm trying to power it. That is true.
I think after like say 3 minutes, if it doesn't join.
Yes. After some time, and it's not on. I think we have to reschedule. This is an amazing program.
Yes.
We have to
Viewers and followers
reschedule.
can see.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This is still corner chat with Babalogy. And it's been an amazing time this very night on the show with Engineer Felix Abayomi Dur. We are waiting for him, and we hope his phone is not there. And we hope he will join us again through the link, and we are going to conclude the program together. However, be it, if he is not able to join us again on the program, I want to give you a word. We are going to reschedule this program because what he started, he needs to finish it. He definitely needs to finish what he started. We can't just let him leave us. Okay, I have someone that wants to join. I hope he's the one. Uh, uh, He's not. Okay. All right. So we hope to get him on the show sometime in the new year for us to get the balanced diet of what we are getting. All right. I want to seek our permission to end the show now and promise us that in the nearest time we are going to have another program with engineer Felix. He told us that he is in his car and I have a guest. Let me check. I praised the one. Oh, he's the one. All right. I think that's that.
Choose device is connected successfully.
All right, guys.
Hello. Okay, sir.
Can you hear me?
Wait.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, we can hear
Yes,
you.
sir, we can.
Welcome, sir.
All right, please. I'm sorry, my network is just, but I'm back.
Okay.
I'm back now. Uh-huh. So, can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
No, don't worry, I'll pack it. No, can measure this call. Hello, yes. Are we back?
Okay.
Yes, we are.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm very sorry, my network. Okay, the issue with procrastination is this. Most of the time, we think that doing something is about doing something that is outside of.
Bro, Chris,
Sir?
can you mute
Are we
your
together?
network? Yes, we are.
Okay, okay. No, there's no.
Okay, what I'm saying in essence is when it comes to doing something, you don't do it just because you want to achieve something. Huh?
Mm.
You do it because it is by doing that you get better.
Mm.
So procrastination comes from a lot of things. For example, there are people who procrastinate because the particular task at hand, they are not very good at it. Actually, that's one of the most important things that we procrastinate on. Things we are not good at, we don't always do it very quickly. The next thing is things that we are not interested in, we don't also do it very quickly. So if you're not good at something, you are most likely not going to do it even when it's important. Then if you are not interested in something, you are most likely not going to do it if it's important. But here is the problem with procrastination, and I'm going to make a statement and then I hope that we can understand it from there. Here is the problem: those who cannot discern what is important will eventually become impotent. The law of potency is the law of
Can you come?
important
Can
books.
you come?
Eh?
Can you
Can you
come
hear
again
me?
with that? Very
Please,
well.
I'm very sorry. You people ask me simple question and then
Yes,
I
sir. Sir,
go
can
to
you
elaborate. Hope
repeat?
it's okay. Eh?
No, it's perfect. It's okay. It's okay.
I just want to be able
It's
to
like,
solve the problem
Perfectly
once
okay,
and for
sir.
all.
Very
So
okay.
that, okay, what I said is those who cannot discern what is important will eventually become impotent. Now, it's a mirror. Most people think impotency is about sexual performance. No, impotency is valuelessness, is a state of not being important, not being needed. It's a state of existing in a system that can exist, perform, achieve without your input. So now, it's one thing to be able to discern that this thing is important. It's another thing to be able to commit yourself to doing it. Are you getting my point now? So, first of
yes.
all, I'm trying to point out why we
Yes.
procrastinate, and I've given you two reasons why we procrastinate. But then, even if you are not interested in it, even if you are not good at it, the most important is the key reality of solving procrastination is it important to the critical goal? Do you get my point now? Eh?
Yeah.
Anytime, let me give you an instance. You
Yes,
want
sir.
to travel to Canada and they tell you that you must do IETF or TOEFL, and that, or maybe you must achieve. If that thing is important to the critical goal, as long as you are able to discern its importance, that should solve the issue of the procrastination, because the only way you solve that procrastination problem is to be able to go back to the things we talked about, which is being able to weigh what is at stake, what will go wrong if that thing is not done. Are you getting the picture? Are you getting it now?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Because you have to go
Yes, sir.
beyond the myopia
Yes, sir.
of looking at the task and saying, "Okay, I will do it tomorrow. I will do it tomorrow. I will do it tomorrow. I will do it tomorrow." But it's even, there are some things you don't even need to do. It's not compulsory that you do them. But the most important is to be able to train yourself to ask yourself, is this important to the critical goal? If, for example, do you know that most of you did not procrastinate working on your project when you are in your final years, because you know it was critical to your graduation? True or false? Huh?
Very,
Most
very
of,
true.
yes, when people start the semester,
True.
they
Very
procrastinate
true.
reading. But when the exam timetable comes out, the inspiration to read comes. But you see, the discipline to read when it has not become urgent is the key to solving the problem of procrastination. Because as far as you are able to discern what is important and be able to solve it before it becomes urgent, that makes you a critical leader in your world, even to the best international standard. It is the wisdom that knows what is important and being able to respond to it before it becomes urgent is what leadership in any environment looks like. Everybody will procrastinate, everybody will put it, then people will start running around when it's already late, or when it's already too late, or when it's already um this thing, and then you get to do a shabby job because you are functioning under pressure. Yeah, are you getting my point now? So here is my own advice when it comes to the practical way is this: if you discover that you are procrastinating on any task, sit down. Don't worry about any other thing. Sit down and ask yourself, write the task down. If it's writing this proposal to apply for this job, or to apply for this grant, or, are you getting it now? Write the task down. Are you with me now?
Yes,
Hello?
yes,
Yes, for
yes.
example, some of
Thank
you
you.
Yes, sir.
you are still
Yeah,
procrastinating
we're with
getting
you,
a
sir.
driver's license. You are still procrastinating getting an international passport. You are still procrastinating a lot of things. But the most important thing is that, can we identify the task that you are procrastinating on? And then secondly, how important is it to the critical goal? By identifying the task and by identifying its importance and its deadline, something just happens to you and you go get it done. And then now ask yourself, what is the problem? Why are you procrastinating? These are the three practical questions I would like you to ask when you are procrastinating. What is this task? Why is it important? I mean, okay, it's critical because if I don't do this, I won't be able to achieve this. If I don't get this done, I won't be able to get this promotion. And then finally is, why am I really procrastinating it? Because sometimes you are procrastinating it because you don't know what to do. You don't really know what to do. For example, I procrastinated my own master's project because I don't know what to do. You procrastinate tasks that you don't know what to do. Sometimes you procrastinate things that you are not interested in. Sometimes you procrastinate things because there is somebody that you are supposed to work with that you don't really like, or somebody that you are supposed to. So by identifying the task, identifying its critical importance, and identifying why you are procrastinating it. Let me give you an instance. If the reason why you are procrastinating it is that you are not very strong in that area, maybe you are a problem solver and this particular thing is about vision casting and you are not very good at vision casting. Anytime you hit a problem that the issue is you don't really know what to do, then look for partnership. If it's a problem you are not interested in, then you have to look for somebody to work with. The idea is there is a reason why you are procrastinating it. Sometimes you feel it's not even important self. But you see, if it's important to somebody that is important to you, you have to mark it as important. Are you getting it now? So these are three practical ideas I can bring to the table. Sometimes you are procrastinating a task that you have not even identified yet. You don't even know what it is. You're just pushing it, pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. But when you identify its importance, okay, it's even sometimes you should procrastinate and cancel out things that are not important to your life. Are you getting my point now? You shouldn't do everything,
Yeah.
because I always tell people, I always tell people, and Chris have heard me say this, you don't have enough time for everything, but you have too much time for the important things. Should I repeat myself? You don't
Yes.
have enough time for everything, but you have too much time for the important things. So the question is this thing important? If it is, then let's get it done. Then if you are now stuck in that place where you don't really, sometimes you know what to do, but you don't have the gadgets. Maybe this thing, you needed a phone, you needed some internet, maybe you need a laptop, but you don't have a laptop, or maybe you have the laptop, but you don't have the software to do it. People don't just procrastinate. The most important miracle is learning to identify why that procrastination is happening. And once you are able to nip it, the last final law is to find a way to solve. You don't solve the procrastination, you solve the underlying problem. Procrastination is like a symptoms. You don't, if you have malaria now, you'll be feeling headache, right? True or false?
Yeah, true.
But if you go and take medicine for headache, will it cure the malaria?
No, sir.
No. So the issue is
No,
that
sir.
procrastination is a symptoms of a problem that we need to meet. So by
All right, sir.
following this first step,
Mm.
okay, by following this first step, you can actually identify the sickness, and by dealing with the sickness, you finally cure the symptoms, and then you gain enough power to deal with that in the long run. So that's the major thing.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much. I already have another question, and
All right.
we after this question, we'll be taking one more question. One more question. Our time is fast spent. We wish to go on and on and on and on and on. I know everyone just want to keep
Okay, let's
listening
start.
and seeing values from what you're dishing out this very. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. How many
Okay.
minutes now, go, sir?
We have this
Okay.
question. It says, my question is on goal setting. Sir,
Okay.
how do we fit in new visions that arises into the already set goals, and how do you balance these goals?
Okay. You can do everything that you are inspired to do, but you can't do everything that you are inspired to do at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you know Ben Carson?
Yeah, very right, very right.
Yes,
We
sir.
all know Ben Carson, right?
Yes, we
Yes.
do.
Huh? So let's
Yes.
look at Ben Carson's progression. Ben Carson started out um, as a neurosurgeon, right? He moved from there. He moved into philanthropy, right? And then he moved from there. He moved into politics. There was no way Carson could have done all these three things at the same time. How many of you know that Funke Akindele studied law?
I don't know that.
Yeah, she
Right?
studied law.
Yeah.
She studied law.
Uh-huh.
She became from law. She keyed in into her talent, and then she became a movie this person,
Yeah.
and then now she's moving her tentacle into politics. That is how vision is. How many of you know iPhone? Right?
Yeah.
You know iPhone, right?
Yes,
Yes.
we do.
We've had iPhone 6, iPhone 5, iPhone 7, iPhone 11. How come they didn't release all the iPhone at once? Do you know why? Eh? Everybody say with me, say lines upon lines,
Lines upon
Lines
lines.
upon lines.
precept upon precept.
Precept
That
upon precept.
so what I'm saying in essence is please don't kill your goals at birth. Sometimes some goals comes just for you to record them down. They've not gotten to the level of implementation. Hope you know that goals and visions move through some spaces. They move like the same. They move from conception to development in the womb till birthing, till nurturing, until execution. So you conceive, you nurture, and you execute. So the idea is because you are a progressive person, God, look at God. God called out Egypt, send him back, called out Moses, send him back to Egypt, brought him out of Egypt with a people. Then he walked through the wilderness, he crossed um, the Red Sea, and then from there, journeyed and journeyed and journeyed, and then like that. So, what I'm trying to say in essence is bring always trap your goals, trap your visions, trap your inspiration, write them down. Don't criticize them, don't destroy them, don't but don't downplay them. The Bible says you do not know, plant here, sow here, you do not know which one is going to germinate. The point is that in the long run everything is going to fall into place, but don't do too much at once. You don't write too many books at once. If you have an inspiration to write a book, you can scribble the content of this one and then you are working on this one. But then it doesn't mean that you have removed this from the picture, but then they unfold. And that's how God works. God doesn't show you everything when he calls you. He shows you in mosaic, he shows you in faces. So my counsel with anybody is if you have something you are working on already, and you have clear path where you are going to already, and then some new ideas and some new things are coming up, just ask God and critically sit down and prayerfully put them on a scale of preference in such a way that you can now um, know what needs to happen before the other. It's still the same thing I talked about before. What is important in the now, what needs to be worked on in the now, and then other things can follow. But please don't throw away new ideas because you are still working on old ideas. But then also sometimes new ideas comes in, and then because of the solidness of the new ideas, they are more viable than the old ones. They can be dropped, they can come up, and then the old ones can be put aside a little bit depending on your capacity and depending on the kind of team you are working with. But my point is just do according to your capacity. Don't do beyond, don't do too much to the point of becoming ineffective. But then don't criticize your ideas at birth, and then nurture all of them and then execute them one by one. That's what I would say on that. But you can actually do all of them in the long run. Go to now.
But you deal with them one after the other.
One after the other, please. One after the other. Except maybe you've grown to the point of you have a team, you have people working for you and people working around you. You can now delegate some of this thing for development and incubation. Very good. You remember the first thing we talked about. You use time to get value, and then you use value to get money, and then you use money
And
to
use
buy more time.
to
So
buy
if you
more
have money
time.
to employ some people and employ technology to yeah, some people write 4 books at once. All they need is to create the content, record the voice note, send it to transcribers, and then the books comes out next week. They don't have to sit down and be
Mm.
writing it. So you can employ people, you can employ technology to do so many things at the same time, but it depends on your capacity, and your capacity is still depending on what you are able to do personally at once and what your system, which is your finances and the people working for you, are able to do. So I'm not limiting you, but I'm simply trying to teach you to be able, just ensure that you have to be effective. Just ensure that you are always effective in everything that you're doing. All right.
Right.
Engineer Felix, thank you so much for that particular response. One more question. One more
All right, one more.
question.
Please,
We don't
one
want
more.
to
My
go,
wife
but
is already
we
calling me.
have to go. Okay, one more question, so we can release Engineer Felix. One more question.
All right. So you come.
Ronald, are you raising up your hand?
No, I was adjusting my headset, sir.
All right. In the absence of other questions, okay. Engineer Felix, as further question comes, I think as further question comes, even after now, you will be notified.
Okay, yes, I would
I hope that is
even
fine.
take, just tell you or Christian can always forward them to me and I will respond to them accordingly. I would. But
Okay.
where I
All
want
right.
us,
That is
I would like us to implement those things we talked about as
okay.
per the laws we talked about. 1010, your 10 value
Yes.
statements. Please, let's do it, because it's in doing it you are able to actually that I see. The Bible says that some people look themselves in the mirror and they are not able to remember what they look like. It is pertinent, it is critical now that we learn to do that, and mother, to do that. So what if we cannot critically tell ourselves the truth about 2022? I don't think we will be very well positioning to bear better fruit in 2023, and that criticalness is key for this entire discourse, because I don't also want us to lose sight of the three key words that inform this discourse, which is preparation, positioning for exploit. And I believe that
Yes.
even as we have this, God will continue to inspire our minds in the name of Jesus Christ.
Amen. Okay.
All
Engineer
right.
Felix, want to give you a word. We are going to practicalize that. We're going to write down all those things. Take a critical
Yes,
look
sir.
of them, or of
Yes.
all on a critical look on all of them, and we promise you will see us better in 2023.
God bless you. God bless you, sir. I'm sorry I couldn't give you guys a very good video. I'm very sorry. I apologize for that. Forgive me. Next time you see my face, I'll have the ring light. Everything will be fine. Love you guys. I
That's
gotta go. Should I go now,
Thank you
Chris?
so much, sir.
All right. God
You're
bless
very
you.
privilege.
Thank you
Bye.
so
grateful,
much,
sir.
sir. We are so grateful to have you around,
All
sir.
right.
Those on
Thank you so
YouTube,
much.
you may not be able to hear them, but they are grateful.
Yes, sir.
That's very grateful.
All right.